Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on 790 The Bet. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency and Wally Hatchett's Comfort Food and Drinks at 6439 Summer Avenue.
Hey, welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on this June 4th, the first Saturday of the month, as we continue this journey, not only with my health, but also in this show. And Gene and Dave, our brother Daryl and Daryl, have been part of this team. Of course, Gene has been here since day one, which is, we didn't think this show would last 2 weeks, much less 21 years.
It's amazing.
It is amazing. Through God.
We've met a lot of interesting people.
We have done that, and Gene has been right here. But we've got an amazing person in studio with us this morning, and has been a guest, as I said, I don't tell how many times. And Dave Gabbard is on the line from up in Lexington, Tennessee, and Gene's in studio. But let's continue this conversation with the man himself, Dale Sanders, out of Bartlett, Tennessee, and is getting ready to do another one of his famous Rod Wellington victory dance. But he's going to do this at the start. So let's talk about this, Dale Sanders. We talk about the Source to the Sea, where once he completes this in 87 days, he will become the oldest man to do this. He held the record at 80, and now 7 years later, he's going back to break the record because another gentleman broke it at 81, and it'll take quite an effort for anybody to break 87. But talk about the journey, Dale, because just getting – I know that there's not much to the Mississippi River where it starts, but just getting out of Minnesota could be a challenge. So talk about what's up for you.
Well, the Mississippi River where it starts, you could. There's a couple places up there where you could actually jump across it.
Yes.
It comes out of a little lake, Lake Itasca, in north-central Minnesota, and we zigzags through the I call it the jungle. There's not really a jungle, but it's a lot of swampy type areas and grass and bogs and down trees and beaver dams. You've got to go. That first 60 miles is going to be really rough between Itasca and Bemidji, the first town on the river, Bemidji. And that when I'm going to put a wetsuit on for that. I called up this morning, the water temperature is still 40 degrees. Ooh.
40 degrees.
I was ordering me a wetsuit for I came over here.
Okay, so he's getting the wetsuit, but is it more that 60 miles going to be rougher, not only because of your age, but because of the elements you're going to deal with?
Well, age is going to have a big factor on it, but the elements are going to be so far worse, so much worse this
You're going to have to portage in and out and get around, cut your way through.
A lot of portaging, a lot of pulling over and under jams and pulling through the bogs and trying to get out and walk through that mud and waist high sometimes in the mud. It's terrible experience trying to get through that section this year, from all the reports that I'm getting, because they had some tremendous storms came through late spring and they had a really, really late fall, and it's snowing up there now and it's still cold and all the trees are falling down in the wind and the ice storm brought more down. It's just a mess.
So to get through that, and reminds me of Humphrey Bogart and Katharine Hepburn going down the African Queen. Sometimes you won't have the leeches.
It's very similar to that. To be honest with you, except it's not in a tropical environment, but it's very similar to that.
Yeah, to weave your way through that.
Yep.
And so what are you allowing for time-wise on just that first 60 miles? I mean, is it going to take you 2 days, 3 days?
I think it's going to take probably 4.5 to 5 days.
Wow. So before you get to floatable waters, so to speak. So you've prepared for this, and you've put together quite a team. So let's talk about your team, because there's going to be a documentary on this as well. There should be, and you've already been featured in several documentaries on your other exploits, whether it's the Appalachian Trail or the Grand Canyon or whatever it might be. you put together a team for this, and it takes a team effort, doesn't it, Dale?
Yes, it does. I know I have two different film crews going to be with me, and they've teamed up together to make a full-length movie of this venture.
Wow. And the equipment too. I mean, you've got to have certain equipment early on, like you just said, your wetsuits, and then by the time September rolls around, it's going to be an entirely different environment. But your team, how important are they?
Oh, well, for support?
Yeah.
I got two people paddling with me, Matt Biggs and Dan Fouts.
Yeah.
And they are going to be with me from start to finish. And they're not paddling with me. They're in their own boat. I'm paddling solo because the record is a solo record.
Right, yeah.
But their support is going to be tremendous. Also, they're going to be witnesses for my Guinness documentation as well. And it's just nice to be. That river is a very lonely river. There's just even right outside of Memphis here. You can paddle from Cairo, I think they call it,
yes, they
to
do.
Memphis without seeing another human being. Except maybe you might see one walking along a barge or something, but you won't see another human being at all. That whole stretch.
So it's
a very lonely river out there alone. Now, I do have also that first 6-7 weeks. I have a ground support crew. Tracy Lynn Martin and Marv are going to be with me and waiting for me when we finish the day.
Points.
And
yeah.
Going to have food and a place to sleep, place to get in a dry bed. And,
yeah.
Whew, can you believe how important that is to having to sleep in the mud with the mosquitoes?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I know you've got you a new raft, a new vessel, for this.
Oh, man, do I have a red cover on that North Star canoe.
That's what it is, yes.
I got a North Star, they call it a North Wind Solo.
Yeah.
And it's ready. Oh, man, it's sleek and
it looks
carry
beautiful.
all my stuff. And I got that red cover in there. So I read something recently that the tugboat operators, if they see a canoe, they will slow down and break their wake. They call it breaking their wake.
Yes.
And
they'll be able to see that red.
They want people to go bright color, so I got the bright color. You better believe it.
Yeah. And there's how much that baby weigh?
The boat by itself weighs 27 pounds.
How much?
27 pounds.
27. Wow. It all so good on that water.
But the ability to carry stuff, it won't weigh 27 pounds when you get your equipment in there.
Ooh, when I get that baby loaded and all that, it's going to be probably, myself in there, it's going to be about 250 probably.
Good night. And Dale, you've kept in shape. I know this. How much you weighing now?
Well, I weigh 149.
Okay, so compared, you've been there before. You've done this before. So, but you were just a pup at 80.
Oh yeah. I was
so now,
young. I was young. Yeah, I'm getting old now.
How have you prepared for this journey, health-wise, body-wise?
Well, stay active. That's the most important thing. You really have to get out and do things and get outside. I haven't done a lot of paddling, but I've done a lot of different kinds of exercises because paddling is, one of the easiest things with this trip because if you get tired paddling, you just stop paddling. You're still moving.
Yeah, follow the current.
But portaging and pulling that boat around the dams and over logs and
yes.
is more difficult than the paddling part. So that's the stuff that I've been doing and getting ready to do.
Because you're definitely, you have people on shore, you have people with you, but not in your canoe, and so you got to do a lot of this stuff all on your own, and to get over these different kind of things. And those first times are the important times. There's going to be days you're not going to feel good.
There's going to be definitely days I don't feel good.
Yeah, a lot of days.
I imagine the film crew. I'm going to have basically at least one of the two film crews with me most of the time. The times they're not going to be with me, I'm going to be wired with a mic, and they're going to put a GoPro in the front of that thing, and it shoots forward and backward at the same time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Woo!
Yeah. So you've already you set up your blogs and your website. You got them ready this week. This is June the 2nd. June the 4th, excuse me. This is June the 4th. So you're already set up because in 10 days from June the 4th to June the 14th, you're going to be on the water.
That's right. That's a short time.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking on this Saturday morning, June the 4th. In 10 days, Dale Sanders, and your birthday is June the what? 6th, 7th? What is your birthday?
My 14th.
14th. Yeah, you are starting on the 14th. In the past, you're going to be on the river when you celebrate your birthday.
Actually, that day is really it was a little confusion when you have a birthday on the river.
Yes,
as to where you count that. And so I said, doggone it, there's going to be no more confusion. I'm going to start on my birthday.
Start on your birthday.
The whole thing, I'm going to be 87.
87 degrees. He probably wishes that. He'll be 87 on June the 14th when he starts this.
Yeah, and I think if I can just make it to saltwater by 8 September, I got another Guinness record.
You got another Guinness record. So sit back and relax, listeners, this morning, as we have an exclusive time with Dale Sanders, the Graybeard Adventurer. We've got so much more to get out of Dale. This is one of those favorite shows of mine that we don't have any restrictions, really. We're going to take a break, but we're going to come back. We're keeping him in studio, and I know that I'm going to let Dave and Gene ask him some questions on this next segment because I know they've got some. So let's take a break on Outdoors with Larry Ray, and we will be right back.